Okay, so after you've paused the video and come back, let's think about some of the reasons why we might eat insects. So you might have come across these in your research. Here are some of the reasons why we should. The population is growing and we need to explore new food sources. So let's be creative and imaginative about those food sources and try to break down some of the barriers that we might have in our minds about eating new foods. Insects are certainly very nutritious. They have a high protein content and certainly sustain lots of ecosystems and natural environments. They can be used to produce a wide range of tasty foods. You might have been tempted by some insect snacks that you've come across before. It's not uncommon for people to eat insects. In a Western European-centred culture, insects don't feature particularly highly, but it's not common around the world it is still common around the world to eat insects. Insect farming requires less water than conventional livestock farming. Insect farming requires less energy and occupies less space. Insects grow faster than conventional livestock, but there are reasons why you might choose not to eat insects. Let's go through some of those. You might have come across these in your research too. Insects might not be safe to eat. So some people may be allergic to insects. Some insect food might be contaminated with pesticides, and some insects feed on decaying waste, so may contain some of the chemicals that are toxic to people. So we can't just eat insects that haven't been produced in a way that's safe to eat. Insects have to go through a number of processes before they're suitable for consumption. I've got some insect snacks here, and the ingredients are quite extensive. They're produced in a way that is very palatable, and that requires a lot of processing, and that has a carbon footprint of its own. And if we lose conventional livestock, then that's going to have an impact on our economy and our culture. So we may encounter new issues. We may lose an important part of how we live at the moment. So there are lots of positives and negatives for eating insects. So now that we've done a bit of research and understand that better, let's think about how we might put this into practice. So some work recently, some schools have been looking in the UK that about this question here. Should schools and colleges serve insects in the canteen? I don't know how you feel about that, but having done your research, you might have an opinion about these key points of view. Insects are a nutritious and sustainable source of protein. We should be encouraging young people to eat them. So where better than to tackle some of these issues than in an environment where education is key and where people are young and forming habits and routines that are going to be with them for a lifetime. So if you're going to introduce it anywhere, a school canteen seems like a really sensible solution. So is that a point of view you agree with? Or maybe you think that we should be focusing on a healthy and sustainable plant-based diet. Why are we looking at animals to be our source of protein? We can live healthily and sustainably on a vegetarian and vegan diet. Is that a point of view you agree with? We should accept that some people will always choose meat over insects. So there's always people that are going to want to eat meat and want that choice. And perhaps it's better to think about how we produce that meat and focus on the way we feed the animals. Maybe insect protein could be introduced into animal feed, and then our meat could be produced in a more sustainable way. Or should we not be focusing on new foods when food waste is a problem? If we think this food in a school canteen is just going to end up in the bin, are we really solving a problem or just making another aspect of the same problem worse. So food waste is the real problem. We should be making sure that everything we offer in the school canteen is bought and eaten. So you might have some thoughts about these 4 points of view. If you go to the Padlet that's described in the resources that link to this video, then you'll be able to see what other people agree with. You'll be able to comment on these statements and see which of the 4 points of view are the most popular. I think that'll be fun to compare how your points of view compare with other people's and get a sense of what the consensus is. So the last question there, schools should serve insects in the school canteen? Maybe have some strong views on that last statement. So in the resources, look for the way you're able to comment on those statements and see what other people think at the same time. If this has kind of piqued your interest in food issues, the Museum of Natural History is currently hosting a Contemporary Science and Society exhibition. And the exhibition is called Meet the Future. And the exhibition brings together the research of several departments within the university that are coordinated by a group called LEAP. And LEAP stands for Livestock, Environment and People. And it studies the impact of the beef and dairy industry, not just the impact on the environment, but also the impact on our health and our economy and our social structure. It's an exhibition that's physically in the museum, but you can also go to the Meet the Future website, and you'll see the link in the resources that accompany this video to find out more. I hope you find a chance to visit the exhibition. If that's in person or virtually, then I think you'd find it really exciting. Thank you very much for listening, and hope you enjoy researching and finding out more about food, insects, and the environment.